Welcome to another edition of Biro Sports Talk. I'm your host, Biro, and yes, we're using the same information this week. Oh, that's why it still says Happy Early Thanksgiving, even though it's after. How was everyone's Thanksgiving? Was it good? Did everyone get what they needed? Oh man, yes. Hey, looky there. Now we're gonna do it. Ay, 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 you know? Here we go. Hey, there we go. Alright. Just trying to grab, the typical information so that I can try to stay connected. So, as you notice, also, I did not grab my tablet on the way up to my upstairs, which is what you see. Shocker, I know. But let's talk about last week. So last week, we got 10 out of the 16 games right. Some of the ones that were wrong. Dallas couldn't beat Washington. The Raiders couldn't beat the Falcons. Arizona couldn't beat New England. Carolina couldn't. It's a lot of teams that on the year are probably 500 anyways with. Like, no joke, probably 500 with them too. But I digress. There we go. Let's get some of this going. There we go. All right. But this week, we've already got no Thursday night game tonight due to COVID-related reasons. Pittsburgh and Baltimore's games were moved later in the week. So let's start with the Sunday games, all right? So Sunday, I got New Orleans at Atlanta. I'm going Saints. Detroit at Chicago. I'm going Bears. Cleveland at Tennessee. I'm going Titans. Titans are on a roll. I feel like Cleveland's going to be more of a closer to 500 team, as some would say. Moving along, though. Cincinnati at Miami. I'm going Miami. Jacksonville at Minnesota. Going Minnesota, of course, because Minnesota's a lot better than Jacksonville. Honestly, if I look at the NFC North as is today, I see the Vikings actually being a wild card and not the Bears. The Bears, who were primed position early in the year to be a wild card, are no longer in that position. I do have the Raiders beating the Jets. I mean, the Jets, they're just terrible, man. They're really bad. Very, very bad. Colts over Houston. I picked Colts last week to try to win one against the Titans, and it didn't work out. I think they win this one. We'll see, because Houston has done very well. Moving along. Rams at Arizona. I'm going Rams. The Rams. These two teams, I just seem to get wrong somehow. The Rams have been doing good. Arizona can be good, can be bad. Hoping the Rams win it so I get another one right. Giants at Seattle. I think Seattle wins it. Philadelphia at Green Bay. Green Bay is going to win that. Philadelphia is just awful right now. I don't care if they start Jalen Hurts. Green Bay is just that much better. New England at the Chargers. I'm going New England because I think New England's going to push for that playoff spot. Excuse me, sorry. Denver at Kansas City. I'm going Kansas City, of course. Now, Monday night. Since I'm just running through these right now, which is alright. It's okay. It's alright. It's okay. But Monday night, you got Washington at Pittsburgh at 5 o'clock. I think Pittsburgh gets that. Your 8:15 game got Buffalo at San Francisco. I gotta go with Buffalo. I think San Francisco's just they had too much up and down, man. Just too much. Buffalo, very solid team. They're gonna win this. And then of course your Tuesday game because why not? Dallas at Baltimore. I think it's gonna be Baltimore. I don't think Dallas has the pieces. I think Baltimore gets their main pieces for this matchup, which is a big deal because that's one of the reasons why they lost this last matchup, even though Pittsburgh should have won a lot more, but that's okay. But surprisingly, lots to talk about. Let's go into the college football rankings. One of the biggest news is that BYU will be playing Coastal Carolina this weekend in the 5 o'clock, 5:30 slot. Now, why that's important, both teams are 9-0. One's ranked 13, one's ranked 18. And they're trying to move up in the rankings. I know BYU's hoping to win that and move on up. So looking at this, top 7, nothing changed. Got Bama, Notre Dame, Clemson. Ohio State's still there at 4 somehow. Texas A&M, Florida, Cincinnati. Now, I say that because Ohio State needs to get their games in. They need to get some of these. Hey, Diego, what's up? I just saw you. Finally. Logging in, man. It's been a while. But, man, I'm trying not to rush some of these. I would love to see Cincinnati, though, start creeping up on Florida, start creeping up on Texas A&M. I would love to see Cincinnati get higher ranked, but I don't think you'll see that until after. Glad to finally make a stream right. Well, and some of these streams have been bouncing around. I know last week was on Wednesday because of Thanksgiving, and tonight was more of a my wife came home late, so we ate late, and I just rather not rush anything and just eat and then come up. Don't want to be hangry doing this, you know. But anyways, I would like to see Cincinnati move up. It's not necessarily because Cincinnati's terrible. They're 8-0. I mean, they've played in the American. They played some decent teams. But they play Tulsa, who's a ranked team, last. They were trying to schedule BYU before BYU chose Coastal Carolina, which is interesting in itself because Coastal Carolina, I'm pretty sure that was a league game they canceled with Liberty, which is interesting. Hand movements, like, oh my goodness. But let's look at some of these other teams in these rankings. Georgia's your highest ranked 2-loss team at 8. They're right above Iowa State, who's one of the front runners to be the Big 12 champion. Got Oklahoma at 11. Miami is solid 10th. Indiana's 12. Northwestern's 14 after a disappointing loss. Wisconsin's at 16. Oklahoma State's 15. North Carolina's 17. Iowa, USC, Marshall. Marshall's also an undefeated team at 7 or 21, but they're 7-0. Washington's undefeated. Oregon lost. Tulsa's in there, and the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana at 25. Oh, the Sun Belt. Pretty sure they're still in the Sun Belt. I'm going to take a quick second to double check, but yep, Sun Belt. I was about to say, I knew it. I knew they were in the Sun Belt. What? Coastal is also in the Sun Belt. Whoops. I I find it interesting they were supposed to play Liberty. And Liberty decided, or they decided, nah, we don't need to play Liberty. Let's play BYU instead. It's just a very interesting mentality this year brings to everyone. I didn't click stats, I hit standings. Trying to look at the Sun Belt. Alright, Sun Belt it is. I thought Liberty was there, but I guess Liberty is not a league game. Liberty would be an independent then. Which they are. Liberty is an independent. They changed their independent from Liberty to BYU, which BYU brings more street cred if you look at it that way. Marshall has beaten everyone in conference right now. They're a strong 7-0. The Thundering Herd. I was going to say in the MAC, no one's ranked. There's no love for the MAC. Even the Buffalo looks pretty good. Just saying, they do. See, Marshall still has what looks a Rice and a FIU, but I just don't see it. A lot of good teams, though. I mean, would I ever have thought Coastal Carolina would be 9-0 right now? No. Let alone Louisiana University at 8-1, Marshall at 7-0. So there's a lot of interesting things that are playing out in college football with all these lopsided records. It will be interesting to see what happens for the Pac-12. It will be interesting to see what happens with the Big Ten, because the Big Ten, their biggest issue is just getting these games in. Ohio State's supposed to play 6 to play in the Big Ten championship, and they've only played 4. Oh, what else is going on in the world? You know, college basketball has started. So quietly, of course, because no one even knows it's going on right now because everyone's so focused on college football. There's been a lot of good games, of course. I mean, you've had Baylor versus Illinois. You've had Duke versus Michigan State, Kentucky versus Kansas. Even though Kentucky's starting to show they're not very good this year. But let's be honest, Kentucky in recent years have slow starts. I didn't hear much about the Kentuckys or the Dukes this year. Really, there's just kind of like last year. There's no solid favorites right now. You know what I mean? We got all these teams, but there's just no one who's blowing anyone out. We have to have this guy. There's just nothing standing out at the moment. But in the NBA, there's a lot going on. You got Westbrook traded for John Wall. So Westbrook's no longer in Houston. He's now a Wizard in Washington. John Wall going to be playing with James Harden, which is a little surprising. You got LiAngelo Ball signing with the Pistons. Davis, of course, and James re-signing with the Lakers. No surprise there. But man, they're going to be set to start here actually. I think it's 3 weeks because that's when Christmas is. Christmas is pretty much opening day. Christmas Eve, I think, is the first day. Maybe December 22nd. But man, are they just blowing through everything. They're getting rookies. They got the free agency was crazy. We already got one of the Houston Rockets stars traded. It's kind of fascinating when you look at all of this. But what to do? What to do? Once again, we're at the point of the show where there's a slight lull. It's more trying to figure out what to talk about. Because there's a lot going on. There really is. For how little is actually going on. We could talk soccer. Not really. I know the Columbus Crew, being an Ohio kid, they're playing. And I think they play. Who do they play? Oh, they play Sunday, I think, or Saturday. I see the West Side, which is Kansas City and Minnesota. Let's look at schedule, because then I'll know. I want to say it's Sunday. I really think it's Sunday. Hey! Columbus Crew plays New England Revolution. Two very good teams, of course. The Crew should make it to the finals. It would be nice to see them make the finals. They were a very good team this year. But that's about as much soccer I can really go into, because I'm not a soccer expert. I'm sorry, guys. Not my thing. Not something I dive deep in. But I do know the Crew's been good, and I know pretty much that. That's about it. We got some men's games going on. You got your no ranks. Iowa does play today against Western Illinois. Kansas plays against Washburn. So you got two games there where ranked teams are going to beat up on some small guys. Ohio State beat up on Morehead State last night. Something surprising to me, at least, on the women's college basketball side. I'm looking at some of the scores of the games right now. Notre Dame is not ranked. I know Notre Dame lost because they lost to my alma mater, Ohio. I see they beat Miami after that because Miami's terrible. But I would always say Miami's terrible because I'm an OU grad, of course. Of course. And Michigan officially beat them, so now they're a 1-2 team. So yeah, they're not doing too well. However, South Carolina is playing NC State right now. That's a top 10 battle, 1 versus 8. In women's college basketball, as I try to stretch it just a little longer. Yeah. On the college scoreboard right now, there's a bunch of teams not important playing. But looking at the sports world, we pretty much touched at least everything. If anything, we all got to witness Mike Tyson boxing again. Everyone's mocking Nate Robinson as Jake Paul knocked him out. Just saying, Jake's not a bad boxer. And if he's training like he says he is, he's dangerous. I think he could be a okay boxer at the rate he's been going. But he needs to be more active in the boxing ring if we want to see him do better, of course. So, that is all I have today. Sorry for the late start, but again, we got a nice 25-minute show out of it. It's kind of what I was hoping to get. Or 22-minute, I guess. But, like I said, last week we were 10-6 picking the NFL picks. This week we're hoping to do better. COVID once again moves some games. We got 2 Monday night games and a Tuesday night game, but no game tonight for the NFL. However, I hope to see you guys tune in next week, next Thursday, hopefully at the same great old time of 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Maybe we'll get some more of these decorations I have sitting beside me right now. Yeah. Be nice to get some things hung up and make it look a little better in here. But thank you for those who tuned in. Diego, I saw you tuned in. I will see you guys next Thursday, 7 p.m.